Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 52 of the Game Changers. I want to say, excuse my voice, excuse me for not feeling okay. If I sneeze, you can laugh it out. It's fine.
Oh no, we won't laugh at you.
I'm still under the flu. I'm so sorry. I'm taking this week off. It has been really tough. So if you are feeling not well, I hear you. I'm that person today. I'm
Oh,
your host, Carla, tonight, and I have a fantastic episode lined up for you. I'm thrilled to welcome my guest, Miranda Marie. She brings a wealth of knowledge and experience that I am sure you will find enlightening. We will dive deep into some engaging discussions and explore fascinating topics. Stay tuned for an insightful and entertaining show. Before I dive into tonight's episode, I want to extend my sincere gratitude to Evan, Iggy, and JC and the whole GSA team for their invaluable support in providing me with this platform to engage with distinguished individuals within our community. Join me as I explore the lives and stories of my guests, uncovering their personal insights, experiences in fantasy football, and much, much more. The Game Changers is not your ordinary podcast. It has fostered a cherished community, and I'm honored to share this journey with all of you tonight. Who is Miranda Marie? Miranda Marie and Miranda She Wrote. Miranda Marie, widely known by her social media, Miranda She Wrote, is a prominent voice in the fantasy football community. With a passion for sports and a knack for insightful analysis, Miranda has carved out a niche as a trusted expert and engaging content creator. She regularly appears on popular shows where she shares her expertise and unique perspectives on fantasy football strategies and player performances. Miranda's journey into the world of fantasy football began as a hobby, but her analytical skills and engaging personality quickly garnered a dedicated following. Her content is celebrated for its depth, clarity, and the ability to make complex concepts accessible to both seasoned players and newcomers alike. Beyond her analytic prowess, Miranda is also known for her vibrant and approachable personality,
mhm.
making her a beloved figure among fans. In addition to her work in fantasy football, Miranda is an advocate for women in sports, using her platform to inspire and empower others. Her contributions to the sport industry have not only enriched the fantasy football community, but have also paved the way for greater inclusivity and representation in the field. How are you, Miranda, tonight?
I'm good. I'm great. Thank you for having me. I'm sorry
Thank
you're
you
not
for
feeling
coming.
100.
I know. It's just, when you're a school teacher, sometimes you get the flu and you have to live with it. But I'm taking it
No.
easy this week
Yeah,
to get
good.
better and go back better
Good.
next week. How are you today? How's everything?
I'm good. I actually my daughter's with me, not in this room, but she's hanging with the puppy right now, and it was her
Oh,
birthday yesterday, so we got to celebrate her birthday after school. So that was super fun. So it's been a really
that's
good day.
amazing. She's an October 8th baby.
Yeah.
My son too.
Are you kidding
My
me?
son and sister are born on the same day.
No
My
way.
son just turned 16 yesterday. So happy birthday to your
Thank
daughter.
you, and happy birthday to him. Oh,
Your name.
little Libra babies. Her name is Brinley.
So happy birthday, Brinley. You can
Thank
show her
you.
later if
I
she's
will.
listening tonight. Happy,
Thank
happy
you.
birthday. And happy birthday to my son Chris and my sister
Yeah.
Christelle as well.
Oh, happy birthday. 16. Oh my gosh.
Yes, I have a 21 and a 19, and this is my youngest. So
It's
he just turned 16.
crazy.
It
Hi.
is.
You want to come say hi? Here's
Yeah,
the
I would
birthday
love
girl.
to hear. Happy
Her
birthday.
son, her son just turned 16 yesterday on your exact birthday.
Yes. It's a very special day.
It's a great day.
You're a very beautiful lady. Look at you. Happy birthday. Did you enjoy your day yesterday?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
That's awesome. Are you so excited to grow up and become like mommy one day?
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
trying to get her like more into football every year, and she inches closer. So that's all I can
Is
ask for.
she interested? Is she interested in becoming a fantasy
Yeah,
football player?
I think eventually she might like the fun of it. I know her dad and I are both working on her.
Yes.
'Cause he plays also too over at his house. So I'm like, okay,
Awesome.
win from both sides.
Yeah. Do you have a preferable team?
Well, the Packers.
I was like,
Packers. That's
Yeah.
cool. This is mine. Look at mine here.
look, you know that team.
Yeah,
You know what's this one?
Yep, the Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Yep.
Chiefs. So Scottfish have a division for kids. I don't know if you knew
I
about it.
know.
So if she's interested in
Maybe
doing that,
next
maybe you can
year.
reach out.
And it's
Yep.
all kids that play, and I can teach you how to draft. And okay,
Nope.
maybe you'll change your mind.
Maybe one day you will change your mind. You never know. You never know.
Exactly.
So,
All right, baby.
yeah.
Bye.
Nice seeing you. Happy birthday again. Bye, sweetie. Bye. She's so cute. God bless.
Bye, honey.
So, can you tell us about your time at Virginia Tech and how it shaped your career in sport journalism?
So funny you asked that because I went to school for journalism thinking I'm going to come out like as a sports reporter. Like that's what I was like, I'm going to be Erin Andrews, Pam Oliver, like watching all of those women like growing up when I was in like middle and high school. I'm like, that's what I want to do. I get through a few years of college and I have this professor. I had to be like a junior, maybe a senior, but it was earlier on if it was senior year. And he actually he was the sports guy at like a Roanoke station. So it was like close by to Virginia Tech. And he had been doing it for a long time. And he was a great professor, but he was like, don't get into like any sort of reporting.
Ooh.
He straight up was like, because he knew that I wanted to be in like sports. He goes, especially sports. He said it's so limited and like social media hadn't really taken off though at this point. So yeah, I have to like keep that in mind. Like it was strictly like if you don't get a TV job, like that's really all they had. There was not really many other platforms, but so I think his intentions were solid. And he just said, he goes, if you really want to, of course, you can go for it. You can start at a whatever network that'll hire you, whatever, news station. But he said, your hours are crappy. The pay is crappy. If you ever want to start a family, it's very difficult. And I was just like, oh my God. Like, so it kind of like set me back. I did a teeny little bit of ESPN radio in college, just as I could, just people who would just let me go on and talk. Nothing big scale. It was like high school basketball at one point. I mean, nothing. I just was like, let me just do anything to attach to sports. And then I graduated and didn't do anything in sports for many years, just strictly a psycho fan.
So nothing after you left school.
Not for quite some time. Yeah. Yep.
What led you to become an NFL contributor at Draft Countdown and Boundary Corner after that?
It was always on my mind. Well, let me go back. I've always been really passionate about writing.
Yeah.
Love writing. That's like my way to express myself more than anything else. So all my jobs have been very like marketing based things that I have to like do a lot of copywriting. So that's kind of always been honed in on. And then back in I think it was 2018, back when I was on Instagram, I was following this account, and it was called Sports as Told by a Girl. And I'll shout out my girl, Ashley. She runs it. And it's, of course, all women contributors. And she made a post like they were looking for a writer. They were looking for new writers. So I sent her a message and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this site. I love this content. Like, I'd love to give it a try. And I just started writing for her. Nothing like crazy, as much or as little as I wanted. I could write about any sport. I was writing about NFL, NBA, golf, hockey, gymnastics, like everything. And it was so cool just to kind of get my feet wet on sports journalism, because it's different than copywriting about like new homes, what I do for my day job, right? So
yes,
did that for a few years, and then I don't even know how did I connect with Draft Countdown? I think I saw a job posting. It was like just like a contract gig, and it said, we want somebody with NFL experience. As a diehard NFL fan, I'm like, yeah, that's me. And so I just connected with them and interviewed and sent them some of my work from Sports as Told by a Girl. And they were like, you're in. It was, so Draft Countdown is all guys who are historically very focused just on the draft, right?
okay.
Which I've done a lot better over the years. Like now I'm like almost at draft nerd status, but I won't give myself that yet. But they needed somebody to, all they write about is prospecting and mock drafts for, 2 years out, which is insane that people can do that. But they were like, we need somebody to like actually write about these players once they get to the NFL, and just in the NFL in general, kind of bridge that gap. And I think it's been a really fun kind of bow tie on the top of the, entire site to add a little extra. So it's been really fun.
That's amazing. You still with both, right? That's awesome.
Yeah, so I just write for Draft Countdown, and then I actually got asked. This is my first year writing for this hokey site. It's called Boundary Corner. It started as a podcast. It's still a podcast, and they just wanted to kind of add some more content. And I was like, I'll do it if I can write. So
you can write.
I
mean, journalism, which is really amazing, and that's part of who you are.
Yeah,
that's really, really great. As a diehard Baker fan, how do you balance your personal fandom with your professional analysis?
That was like worrying me at first when I really first started with Draft Countdown, especially. But I will say, like, I typically don't write many articles that are like Packers focused. And if I do have like a take about the Packers, any of my followers or like general, like regular readers, they know, and I'll write it straight up in the article. I'm like, I know I'm a homer, but da-da-da-da-da. So that's kind of how I attack it. But I do like, I think I told them that when I interviewed. I was like, I will not just like cheer on the Packers in every article.
No.
Like I'm a very fair, and like, I just love all of it. Like I try to watch every game possible every week. So I really know about every team. It's just, that's the only team that can like make me cry.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So what are some of the most common mistakes you see fantasy football players make, and how can they avoid them?
I would say, because I've made this mistake in the past, I don't get as jazzed up for it anymore. And I think sometimes like you can overthink it.
Yeah.
Like majorly. And I'm not a big mock draft gal either, because it just seems to me like you're just overloading your head with like all these scenarios that aren't going to happen. And I do think they're fun. Like I understand like the draw to some extent, but then when it comes to showtime, I'm like, your head is just spinning with all this information. So I think a little bit like people might overthink it a little bit. And sometimes you just got to YOLO and you got to just like go with your gut. You know what I mean? And not go, oh my gosh, well, his ADP is this and this and this. Well, if you really believe in this player, like just do it.
Just do it.
What's the worst that's going to happen? Like, I don't know.
So I heard some news today from New York Jets that they have fired their head coach, Robert Saleh. What do you have in mind about that? And why do you think it happened?
I think it's bullshit. I think it's a poorly run organization. And I think Rob Saleh was the scapegoat for problems that start at the very top. And personnel has not drafted wisely. They've not facilitated trades that are beneficial to them for quite some time. And I don't see how firing your head coach is going to I don't think that they were coaching mistakes necessarily. I mean, you have a guy, you know, in your quarterback that you gave up a lot for to my team. And quite frankly, I mean, I know last year whatever happened, he, you know, got injured, but you've got a 40-year-old coming out of that really bad surgery and not necessarily, you know, playing like the Aaron Rodgers that we had for so long and many other issues. I just think he took the fall for it. But that's what these organizations do.
I was really surprised. Rodgers is a drama queen. He's most likely
100%. And then, you know, Rodgers, you know, he's so right. He was on McAfee today going like, oh, I can't believe people think that I'm the reason he got fired, acting like he's never had to be like consulted with stuff. I'm like, okay.
I did think this year, like the Jets has been a really good, they're having a really good season. I mean, they've been winning. And just to say that Robert Saleh is from Lebanon as well. I don't think he was born from in Lebanon, but his ancestors are Lebanese, so he is from the country.
Didn't he have like the patch on? He had like the Lebanon like patch or something on his arm the other day.
Yeah, because there's so much going on right now, and you know, Lebanon is at war and stuff like that. So hopefully peace will be on like everyone, like all the countries. I don't like war no matter what, even if I'm from Lebanon or Israel or Palestine or whatever. I really hope that peace will come at one point and we all live in peace, honestly.
100%.
Yeah, he was wearing the flag during the game and I was really in shock because I saw that the Jets were doing a great job. I didn't know that. Yeah, that's something that I heard today on the news. It was a big news, Fantasy Dog, that everybody was talking about it today, that Robert Saleh was kicked out and he's not coming back for the Jets. And this really hurts.
Kind of crazy because like he's like the defensive minded guy, right? Like he previously was the DC in San Francisco and he's got to be on people's radars for, you know, a defensive coordinator, maybe an analyst or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I hope so. I hope he will get another job, a better job maybe in the industry.
Yeah.
How do you approach covering your Hokies compared to other NFL teams?
Look, so the Hokies, and that's kind of been the biggest change. I'm used to having the entire NFL landscape to write about. I can write about a single player in the NFL. I can write about a team. I can write about a matchup. I can write about a division, a conference, whatever. But for my Hokies, I just write about them. So that's been more challenging than I thought. It's the team, you know, I went to school in 2004. So like, it's been my team for so long and I've watched them ever since, but I still I still have to be like, oh my God, do I have enough content to write? Because
Yes.
you're so much more limited than having an entire league to choose from. So that's been interesting, but it's definitely sharpened like my skills on how I kind of approach, writing about. I broke it up recently. Like I typically kind of do like a general recap of some sort, preview the next game a little bit. A couple weeks ago, I was like so bored with doing that same, just felt like almost repetitive. So I approached my team and I was just like, hey, what if I'll watch the game and I'll write a song. I don't write the song, but I'll assign every quarter a song of like how I feel about how that quarter went. And it was so great. It was
That's
so
awesome.
fun and it was different.
Yeah.
And it's so much more, I don't know, just easier to read than just reading. Like you can read probably 60 recaps that are all going to sound kind of similar. But mine was a little different. So I was like, all right. So I try to think outside the box a little bit,
Which makes you successful. When you don't go with the flow, you do something different.
Yeah.
Like what we did this week with Ronnie, and
Yes.
we did our video.
It
Did you
was
like
so
it?
cool. That was
Right?
so insane. I was like, I wish I looked like her on here.
Me too.
I was like, oh my God.
You make us really look like so like
Thank you so much.
amazing. I'm like, you should see me this week. I don't feel okay. And then I put all this
Oh,
makeup. We hide a lot behind the
you
makeup.
look great.
You do too. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much. So, what challenges have you faced as a woman in the sports industry, and how have you overcome them, Miranda?
I will say, like, I rejoined Twitter when I started writing for Draft Countdown. So that was in 2021, I believe. Or was it
Yeah,
22? 22. And luckily my team, it's all men, but they're so incredibly like inviting. They're so supportive of women and me, and that's all been great. It's been more of the trying to, I just wasn't on Twitter since like, I don't know, college or something. And
yeah,
I never had like a platform. When I was on, it was just like tweeting about partying or hanging with friends, or something. So it wasn't anything like this. So I think it's just like your typical internet trolls. I had to just learn to like, number one, they exist everywhere.
I agree.
And when they say like, I'm pretty good at brushing stuff off. And I think at first I would engage a little bit more. And now if somebody says anything, I'm just like, all right, buddy. Like, I don't
Block.
know. It's just a matter of walking away, block, mute, whatever it is. But overall, like I've had a really good, same thing for like my hokey guys. That's all men too. And
Yes,
they're so supportive and
nice.
they trust that I'm gonna put out great content and they want to do everything to help promote it. And it's so wonderful when you find those like pockets of, I think most men in our sphere are wonderful, but it's the ones that are just total jackasses that you kind of remember, unfortunately. But I think
Yes,
overall we're pretty lucky like in this world that we're in.
I agree 100%. Who are some women in sports that you admire and why?
Yeah, like I would say going back to those like classic sports reporters, Erin Andrews was pretty young when I was getting into it, but she was still doing her thing. Pam Oliver, Susie Colbert. I can't even think of all of them. There's so many. Those are the three that really come to mind, but I remember thinking like that's the limitation. Like they're always going to be the sideline reporter and whatnot. And now let's fast forward. Yes, Cynthia Freyland is great. I agree. Love her on NFL Network. I think she's still with NFL. I think it's so wonderful that like we've gone from, now you have Kay Adams and you have people who have their own show as a woman or they're as a woman, and they're at the desk with, a panel of men or some men, some women. So it's so cool that what I once thought in like the early 2000s, I really just thought like, if you're a woman and you know sports, like you're just going to be interviewing the coaches and the players on the sideline. And now it's like, no, literally, you could be a freaking assistant hockey coach last night. Like,
Yes.
that was so cool. So it's just really awesome how we've gotten to watch the progression.
Yeah, I agree 100% with you. I mean, I do believe women and men are both alike, and what they can
100%.
do, we can do. What we can do, they can do.
Yeah.
And it's like it should be open to everybody and everyone to see
Yeah.
that and respect that at
Absolutely.
some point, which is really
Yeah.
amazing. How do you manage your busy schedule as a sports contributor and a mom to your daughter, Bryn?
That's the challenge. I would think the biggest thing that I can say is I get up wildly early. Like some mornings I'm up at like 3:45 and people see me. I'm like going on a Twitter tear at like 4:30 in the morning while I'm having coffee and knocking out some work, because the more I can get done, whether it's like getting laundry started or a little cleaning or just like doing a little, my work hours, I work at home, which is fantastic, like for my full-time job. I do have some meetings here and there that I have to actually put on makeup and like leave my house, which is always like, no. But I really think like if I weren't an early bird, there's no way I could manage all of this, because not only am I a mom, I'm a single mom.
Yes.
So everything that I have to do with her is like, it's by myself. So I can't say like, hey, honey, can you go run her to dance or pick her up from tumbling? It's like, I have to figure out times to do this. Sometimes I'm not afraid to bring a laptop to like sitting at a Mexican restaurant at a booth, eating some chips, having a Modelo, and like writing if I have to, or working. So it's all just about like kind of getting creative some days, for me anyway.
That's awesome. I think being a mom, sometimes it is what we do. We just, we
just
have
figure
to
it
do
out, right?
Take care of our children. Yeah. Then you just
Yep.
figure out Modelo.
You just got a Modelo? I'm jealous.
So, what are your goals for the upcoming football season, both personally and professionally?
Yeah, I would say I just really want to keep putting out original content. Like that's kind of how I approach every week. There are certain articles that I do like to kind of repeat every year, but then every week or two, I'm like, all right. And I have two Brians, one Brian with my Hokey podcast and one Brian with Draft Countdown. And they're my go-to, and I can bounce ideas. And they're both like, they'll give me some ideas, but they're like, just run with it. This is your baby. Again, they have that like trust and like, just do it. And what's the worst thing that'll happen? Nothing. If I have a stinker that I put out there, is what it is. Otherwise, this year in particular, so of course I'm still trying to make sure I really want to nail the Hokey coverage that I'm doing, and I can tell that I'm getting better every week. So that's a great step. But as far as Draft Countdown, I already did my first mock draft. I've never done one. Like we've done the team drafts where we'll all get on a podcast and they're like, all right, here's your teams that you have. But I did a full first round mock for 2025. In the past, I've never done that. So I just want to get more comfortable with like just doing a full round mock draft, maybe even get crazy and maybe do like a 2 or 3 rounder and try to work towards that, because I've gotten more comfortable with draft analysis and just kind of planning over the last 3 years.
So would you say that there's new projects and collaborations on the horizon that you are excited about?
Not necessarily. Well, I shouldn't say there's not going to be. Who knows? There could be. But as far as like, there definitely could be new content, and we'll see how it goes, you know? And again,
would you want to share tonight?
I really don't have anything. Like, look, it all comes down to these mock drafts. I know. Very nervous. Oh,
that's amazing.
Thank
Say hi
you.
to your girl Speed.
I know, that's so sweet. Oh,
that's sweet. Yeah. So nothing yet?
No, I really don't have time for anything like extra at this point. And that's the sad part. I'm like, I really wanted to do the Hokey Pod, but then I said, I just don't have time. I'm also like an old lady. And the reason I get up so early is because I'm in bed so early. And I mean, I feel like there's like an 80-year-old trapped in my body sometimes. It's crazy, but whatever, it works.
Yes, I hear you.
So yeah.
I hear you. I've been like that from when I was 14. I feel like I'm always this grown-up woman that, oh my God, don't like the 14-year-old stuff. Don't. I don't play games.
Gross.
I agree with you. So I'm that person too.
I love it.
If you could interview an NFL player, past or present, who would it be and why?
It's a tough one. I'm gonna go with Chad Ochocinco. He's like one of my favorite players of all time, not only just because he's incredible at what he does, but he says some off the wall things at all times. You could have a conversation about a pen and somehow he would say something absolutely insane. And he's a little raunchy at times. I don't mind that. To me, that's funny and it's different. And he doesn't just give the coach speak or the player speak. And I think he's authentically himself. And I love watching him on Nightcap with Shannon Sharp. That's like one of my favorite podcasts ever. I sit there and just cackle by myself. It's quite a scene.
October is coming. We can cackle a lot, Miranda.
Yes.
I love it. When you're not immersed in football from Thursday to Monday, what are some of your favorite ways to stay active?
I feel like an old lady, but like I'm a big time walker. I walk probably like 30 miles a week at least. Plus I have a gym in my garage. I have to stay active to stay like, I almost said Marshawn Lynch. That was my other one that's so funny. That's crazy. Yeah, so it's just like staying active, but also I've realized over time, because I'm a little bit overwhelmed certain days and weeks, it's not like it's every day, I need self-care. When my self-care is like couch melting and watching garbage reality television. It puts me like, it's like 100% away from sports. Yes. Because I've watched all the sports except for baseball. Sorry, baseball fans, I can't do it. But I just, it's such I can turn my brain off and watch, because they don't usually have brains either. So that's good. So you watch it and you can just kind of recharge while watch these people be silly, be crazy, and then I'm ready to go, the next day.
Awesome. I love that. Talking about that, did you ever try to do Zumba?
Yes, I have done Zumba before. I was so good at Zumba. I grew up dancing and cheering and all this stuff. So I had really good rhythm, and I was always okay, this was me when I did Zumba for a long time. Like high school, I started it. I did it at college. I would like seek out all the Zumba classes at the
Yes.
college fitness at like the gym and stuff. Afterwards, my mom and I would do classes because I moved in like super close to them. And I would stay after and go, can you share those songs that you were playing?
Yes.
Because the music is so good. And I know you're a Zumba instructor, and I'm like, it blows my mind. Like, it's the best music. I could listen to it all day.
I agree. It's like 1 hour working out without even knowing that you're working out. So
100%.
it's amazing. I love
You
it.
don't
With
feel like you're
music,
working out.
yeah, with music and having fun.
Yes.
JC was
Yeah.
there when he was teaching Zumba at the expo.
That's
Talking about
right.
the expo, did you go? Did you go
I
this year?
didn't. I've never been.
You kidding me?
I know.
Come on,
Everyone's
Miranda.
like, you have to go. I would
I
like,
think so.
I would love to meet up with all of you wonderful folks that I've met over the years, because I feel like so close with so many people that I really would feel comfortable like hanging with for an entire weekend and like drinking a beer with and talking about any and everything. I just think it would be a blast. So it's on my
Yeah.
radar.
Would your husband, like ex-husband, would he love to go as well to the expo? Like, did he ever go?
Potentially. Mm-hmm.
That would be nice.
We'd
That would
probably
be
get
nice.
into that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's a family thing as well. You can take your
Yeah.
daughter there, and she can meet up with people there, and you can have so much fun.
That's what I should do. And maybe I
Yeah,
could sway her by all the vibes that are there and all the kids and the
that would be really amazing. What's the most surprising fan message you ever received, if you did ever receive a fan message?
Yes, Angie, I want to come next year.
Yes.
I will say, like, over the last few years, since I've been on Twitter and, contributing, sometimes just a simple, and it could be a DM, it could just be a comment, is like, or a share, like somebody sharing my article or just commenting and being like, this was so great. I loved it. You should read what she wrote. Anything so simple like that, just to know somebody took their time, and then they're like, oh my God, now I'm going to take time to tell her that I liked it. It goes so far. It really does.
That's awesome. So I know that you are a big fan of YOLO, and we're going to say what YOLO means. So YOLO, you only live once.
Yes.
Right? So it's a popular phrase that encourages people to take risk and seize opportunities, and, emphasizing the idea that life is short and should be lived to the fullest.
Yeah.
The YOLO mindset for you, what is the YOLO mindset for you, and why you believe in this philosophy?
Well, so funny story about YOLO. I actually got the word YOLO. It's very small, but I got it on the side of my butt last year. I won't show it, but just have to trust me. I'm a very analytical person, and it was almost I do have my moments where I can YOLO, but it's kind of random, and it's usually after drinking a lot of beer. And so it was almost a reminder of like, hey, you've got this. You analyze everything from like what pair of socks you're going to put on to like really important things. Occasionally, you can go with your instinct, you can go with your gut, and you can just throw, caution to the wind and just go for it. So it was almost like a reminder to keep that mantra with me on a daily basis. So it's going well so far.
That's amazing. So believing in that. So what can YOLO inspire you for the future? What can it do? And what advice you can give people who are listening right now to either follow that philosophy or not? How can you tell them what's important in life, like
Yeah.
you sharing with the YOLO thing?
It's what I try to tell my daughter Bryn is like I've told you 35 times already, and I probably don't need to say it again, but I sports is my passion and writing is my passion. So for me, when I was asked to do like more writing, like say for the Hokies, I'm like, there's no way I can do this. I don't have time. But then I think, and I'm like, well, like 2 days a week, I'm like laughing at idiots on reality television. Like I do have time. And I'm up at like 4 in the morning. So it was almost just like, my point is if something makes you happy, just go for it. And you don't, nothing bad is going to happen. Nice. I hope it was nothing like bad.
Aw.
I know
No,
these questions are so good. You should be like on the Today Show.
thank you. I
I'm
appreciate that.
serious. These are really good.
If you could YOLO and attend any sporting event in the world, any event in the whole world, what would it be and why?
That's very tough. I mean, I have to go Super Bowl because I've always dreamt like, and I don't even care who's playing in it. I just want to be there, but I unfortunately don't have like 50K. Did you go?
I never went.
Oh my
No.
God. I was like, that's
You're,
not
you're
fair.
saying you're saying you don't care who's playing in it. Maybe this is the third
Hey,
year they
maybe the Packers will play.
never know.
I'll take it.
I'll take
Um, a Super Bowl is like the obvious answer. But when you
Yes.
said the world, my first thought, I really get into the World Cup and I would die, and I really would die to see our women play in a World Cup
Yes.
match. So like
Now,
those two are really, really close for me. I would have to give the football the edge just because that's like what I care about on a daily basis. But I do love our women's soccer team. They're badass.
yeah. I'm a soccer fan and a basketball fan when I was back
Yay.
in my country because we are more European
Right.
countries. We have a lot of like soccer more than football. This is my third
Yes.
year watching football and learning more about football
Look at that.
because of my boyfriend. So it's kind of like that. So
Hey, that's impressive.
how about like talking about soccer right now? We know that a lot of women play soccer, and I heard like Pete's daughters play soccer as well. They play soccer in their school team, but I never saw women playing football, which is the American football. What's your thoughts about that?
It's, I would, there's a part of me that would love to see that.
Yeah.
But then I think, like, if I had a son, which I don't think. No, I'm just kidding. Um,
Hmm.
I, I always wonder how I would feel about them playing football, like at a certain level, like flag
Yes.
football, the little tots, fine. But you always wonder, like, just with the collisions and the concussions, and it's a big thing. So that's already going on. And then the thought of like women are girls, women, whatever going in there. I think as women that would be fine, but they would have to start going in as like young girls, and it's a very slippery slope. But you said it earlier, like women and men should all be able to do the same thing. So the door
Yes.
should be open. I don't know how that would look physically, but I think it would be kind of cool to see that, right?
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, my daughter plays rugby, so it's kind of like
Ooh, badass.
she's really badass. She is.
Wow.
Her third year playing rugby, and I go watch her games. I'm like, if they can play rugby,
You
why
can
you
play
don't let them
football.
play football?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why? And it's almost
Absolutely.
kind of like the same concept, they're
Yeah.
holding the ball, they're kicking it, they're she would hold someone and like grab someone and throw them on the ground. I
That's
was like,
so cool. You get to
she
watch
she's
that.
a beast. She's a
That's
beast. Kasia is
how
a
old is
beast.
she?
Kasia is 19. This is her third year at CCSU. She's a
Oh,
beast.
cool.
Yeah.
Aw.
Um, So
I love
talking
it.
about like brain injuries and stuff like that, something stopped me on Twitter with a friend of ours. I don't know if you know about Jesse Morse. He was talking a little bit about Josh Allen and how, when he got injured in the game, they just gave him, the salt, like smelling salt
Mhm.
stuff, and put him back into the game. Would you agree with something like that, especially that, head injury is really like it's complicated and it's like there's no way, especially that NFL always say, oh, we are there for our players. We don't want our players to get hurt. We were doing like this special helmet and stuff like that. But then you see this. So what's your intake into something like that, especially with someone like Josh Allen, that he was being injured and then he was put into this like the thing, like put back
I
in the game.
I know what you're talking about, and I get it. It's Josh Allen. You need him in there, right, to win. But
Yeah.
you mentioned it, like the NFL, they say they care about player safety. It's their top priority. It's why they changed the rules and blah, 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 blah. But it seems to me like there's still not really consistency there. Sometimes you see people sidelined after being sneezed on, and sometimes they are probably concussed or potentially concussed, and they're like, you know what? You've got this, slugger. You're back. And it's scary. I mean, here's the thing. I'm not there, so I don't know, and I'm not a doctor, but sometimes you can see these hits and you go, holy crap. Like, my bell is rung by watching it.
Yes.
You've got to be feeling some type of way. I don't love it. It makes me uncomfortable. And you're a mom, I'm a mom, and you just have that, like, I think, like, maybe it's just a parental instinct, but for me, it's just, motherly instinct. And it's like, oh my God, like, he's got a family watching him. I don't know how
Yes.
I would feel if he was like my son or my husband or my brother or dad. I don't love it. It makes me very uneasy.
Because if he had another like injury, it
Could
would
be
have been the
serious.
end of his career, which is
Yep.
really, like it was an eye-opening just reading about it. And I
Yeah.
wanted to know what you think about
Yeah.
it. It's really crazy.
Very.
So talking a little bit about beer, you were talking about beer. What's your favorite type of beer? And do you have any local breweries you love to visit?
Yes. Not as much as I'd like, but over the
Okay.
years, I've always been a beer drinker. My parents and my entire family is from Wisconsin. I'm very German. It's just in my blood. Like, I've always been able to outdrink most people when it comes to beer.
Mhm.
It's not something I should be proud of, but I'm like, well, I guess I might as well be because it's a talent. So,
Yeah.
um, over the years, as I've gotten older and as my metabolism has slowed down, I have come to the realization that I have to just drink the light beers. So Michelob Ultra is like, that's my game day drink. I call them Mickeys. Just I can clean up like a lot. It's really disgusting. But I do love like a nice IPA, just a classic lager. Like there's so many breweries in Richmond, but I try to stay away from them sometimes because those beers are so much heavier than I'm used to. And it's just like such a production, but there are some great ones close by. That's funny.
I'm not a fan of beer. Don't.
I wish I wasn't sometimes. I'm like, oh my gosh. This is
If I don't eat it, I don't drink it. So I'm like away of all,
that's
all
fair.
of this. Yeah, yeah.
That's fair.
So keeping the beer rolling. If you could create your own fantasy football themed beer, what would you
Ooh.
name it? And what kind of flavor profile would you have?
Ooh. That's so good. It would definitely have to be like light and crisp because I like to maybe it would be something like I don't know. I'm not as clever as I am at like 4 a.m., but I should have had beer tonight because my mind is actually really good when I've had a few, but it's got to be something light, maybe like I don't know. Something about like going to the end zone or something. So it could be either like it could be light
Nice.
and airy. So maybe it could be like airing it out, like a quarterback themed.
Because
And
you
it's
like light
airy.
beer. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice.
That's all I've got right now. I'll think of something tomorrow morning at 4 a.m. and I will DM you that.
Dash the game changer.
Damn it.
At the game changers.
I
You
will.
should
I
do
will.
that. Yes.
100%.
I agree with that. I cannot wait to hear it.
Yes. All right.
Like dark beers. What's your all-time favorite trashy TV show? And why do you love it?
I have to go with I've watched so many of them. It's so
Yes.
embarrassing. I'm on a Love is Blind kick. I'm currently on season 7, which just came out. It's actually close to me, close-ish. It's up in DC, a couple hours away. So I would say Love is Blind because the concept is just
I like
so
that.
insane.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched it?
Oh, yes, I watch it.
Obsessed. I mean, it's so great. Hi.
Me too.
But I love them all. I actually didn't get into The Bachelor or Bachelorette until about 2-3 years ago. I started a little bit. I watched several seasons, and then now they have the Golden Bachelor and Bachelorette, and it's so lovely. It's
Yeah.
so much better. I love it because these people are like, well, first of all, I identify as like a retired 65-year-old, so I kind of feel like I'm watching my people.
65? You're not. Stop it.
I feel like it.
You're my age.
I watch these people
younger.
and I'm like, you're so classy. They're not fighting. They're cheering these people on for getting dates. It's so it's so adorable. And I'm like, I can't watch the young people anymore because they're so over the top, like nasty, right? It's not just trashy. It's like, oh my gosh, these people are taking this seriously. Like crazy.
I tried to watch that couple times and I'm like, no, I don't think this is my show. But the other one was like much better. I want to
so
see the
cute.
Golden one. I never did.
Yes. It's on right now. It's only had like 3 or 4 episodes, I want to say. It's on Hulu. I think you can watch them if for some reason you have that. You should catch up. It's really good.
I do have Hulu. Yeah.
Yeah.
I catch up with everything on Hulu.
Yes.
It's really great. If you could be a guest star on any reality TV show, which one would it be and what would you do? Which we heard a little bit about it, but you're not 65, so let's stick to your age.
So if I could be on a reality show,
Yeah.
I have to go through all the reality shows that I watch. So I think as much as I think Love is Blind would be fun, it's so
Yes.
scary to think about what they have to do.
I know, right?
And it creeps me out that you can't see the person. I know that's the whole point, but I don't know if I could do it. I would want to be on Love Island because you're literally at this insane multimillionaire like villa in somewhere gorgeous, and you really get to just like make a bunch of friends and kind of pretend like you're dating somebody, but you really don't have to like them. You can just like friend zone them if you don't like them, and you get like a free vacation.
Oh my
And then
God.
you become like kind of internet famous. So I'm
It's
like,
so
that's kind
great.
of cool. Seems like a good deal.
Oh my God, I can't. How do you like balance all your football, journalism, your guilty pleasure, and of watching trashy TV and everything like together? How?
Honestly, some days I'm not sure. I probably the beer, honestly. No, I'm
Yeah.
just no, that's only during football or like on the weekend, really, if I can. I just I'm very regimented, and what like I take my sleep seriously, I take my working out seriously and my walking, and
That's
I think
important.
working at home helps because like while I'm doing my day job, if there's ever like a lull during the week and I have to do some writing, I can kind of be doing that on my MacBook on the side and be working. So I can multitask a lot too, which is
Yes,
not everyone can do that. Like if I were in an office 9 to 5 every day, it'd be a lot tougher and probably couldn't do all of this. So, just kind of a little bit of dumb luck in there too. A lot of YOLO every day.
a lot of yellow. I agree. What's your go-to snack when you're watching trashy TV and enjoying a beer?
I'm obsessed with just classic popcorn,
Yes. Do you
like
make it
any
your own,
popcorn.
or you have it like in bags and put it in a microwave?
I just I'll just buy it already popped most of the time. I used to have like a popcorn, like official popper thing, and then I would drizzle butter on it, and it was so good, but it's just a lot of work. For how much I go through it, I felt like I was doing the dishes and like cleaning this apparatus all the time, and so I just buy it now.
I do my
But yeah,
own. I
love
pop my
some popcorn. You make your own?
yes. I pop my own at home. I love
See,
it.
and it's so good.
It
It
is.
doesn't no bags can taste as good as making it yourself.
No.
And I know that, but I'm
You-
just too lazy at this point. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna rip this bag open and we'll see if I can get halfway through it.
If
Yeah,
you
it
could
is.
host a watch party for a big game and a trashy TV marathon, what would it be on the agenda?
Oh man. I'd probably I'd probably start. Oh, that's a really good question. Because I don't know if I would want to start with football or I'd probably start with like a big football game. Actually, no, I lied. I would start with like some sort of beer Olympics. I love
Yeah,
games. I'm very competitive, so like and because of my beer love, I love like flip cup and beer pong and cornhole and anything that you can be active and
you will love the expo then.
I know everyone keeps
All
telling
of
me
them.
that. I'm like I saw the beer pong tournament. I saw the picture of all the tables lined up and I was like
Don't be
salivating. I was
sad.
like,
Yeah.
this, I would be, you know what? I'd break the internet. I would probably do something stupid, but that's
They
okay. That
will
makes
love you.
so I would have to start with like drinking games. Then it would be game time because I have to be somewhat with it to watch the game. And then the reality TV could just be on like in the background to like finish the party. Like that sounds like an ideal day and night for me.
That's amazing. So there's a question that I saw JC was asking. before. So um I thought it was a question, and now it's I think
Oh,
it's a comment. The best feeling when someone compliments your writing, even if
oh,
it's
it is.
then it's worth writing. So I thought it was a question. What's the best feeling? What's
Oh
the
no,
best feeling when someone
it was so
compliments your
close
writing?
though. It really
Maybe,
is though.
yeah, it is. So, um, what's inspiring? Like, what's the most surprising fan message? Or inspiring fan message that they ever send you, and you were like shocked to just see it or just read it, like, wow, I really did something special for that person.
So it's a little bit off topic, but um, I had a follower. When was this? This was last year sometime.
Nothing is off topic here.
Well, no, exactly. And you're so open, and I will tell this story because it's actually really cool and it made me cry. I won't cry this time, but
Oh, that's awesome.
um I got this message from a follower. He's a fellow football fan, fellow Packers fan actually. And I'm very outspoken, not just about football, but about just like human rights in general, whether you're gay, straight, black, white, woman, male, I don't care.
I agree.
And my brother's gay. One of my brothers is gay. And this particular person reached out to me and said, I just want you to know that, like, you have made me feel so, I don't know exactly how he said it, like loved or seen, or I think he said seen. And he said, I think I'm bisexual and I think I might want to come out to my family. And you've been such a big voice, in the community. And just hearing that, I'm like,
Awesome.
football doesn't even matter when somebody's saying something like that. And we've kept in touch since, just making sure that we're both okay. And I check on him, you doing okay? You need anyone to pump you up a little bit or listen?
Yes,
So it means a lot to me, somebody to
that's
say that. And, obviously he's following me for mostly sports, but when you can kind of touch somebody a different way, very deeper, it's great.
it is great, and I really love that, Miranda, and I love that
Thank
you're
you.
sharing something like that, because we all say that, like, spoken words sometimes can hurt, so we need to pay attention on what we say and how we say it,
100%.
because like, sometimes you can ask a question to someone, and without knowing, your answer can make a difference in that
Yes.
person's life. And
Yeah.
this is one of the stories that you're sharing, which is really amazing. We need to pay attention on what we say, especially on social media, because
Yeah.
even if we're hiding behind this computer or camera, it doesn't mean that the words cannot hurt. They do hurt, because you don't know what the other person is going through. And I appreciate you
Exactly.
sharing
Yeah.
100%.
Thank you. Yeah.
I really don't want to, like, get over this. I don't want to finish the podcast. Like Chef is saying, words are weapons and tools. It's better to build than destroy with those words.
Oh, I love that.
100%. Thank you
Yep.
for saying that. I
It's
agree
great.
with you 100%. Especially like face to face, words can hurt a lot. So
Yeah.
we,
Exactly.
especially
Can't take
nowadays,
it back,
yeah,
can't take the
can't.
nasty things back. So
You can't. 100%.
yeah.
Before I finish, Miranda, there's always a question that I ask, and people wait for that question. So I always ask that person that's with me on the pod um, if they have anything that they never shared before on any show, or they never shared with anyone before, or it might be a secret that they would love to share on the show. So do you have any secrets hidden, or something like a story that you never ever shared and you would love to share on the Game Changers tonight?
I don't know. I'm pretty open which is not always a good thing, but
It is a good
um,
thing.
mostly. Occasionally, I'm like, why did you share that, Miranda? Like, um, no, I don't have any like secrets, but the coolest thing that I've ever done in my life, aside from becoming a mom, because it's been incredible, but I was on Wheel of Fortune 10 years ago.
Wow, this I didn't know. Now that's
Yeah,
something.
I was like, I don't think everyone knows that. It was my dream. Like I told you, I've been like obsessed with writing, obsessed with words since I was like very little. And I
Yes.
applied the second I turned 18. I was like, apply for years and years and years. And it took like 10 or 11 years for them to finally probably be like, please, dear God, get this girl on the show, or at least get her to an audition. And it happened. It was epic.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
really amazing. I love it. I'm gonna
Thank you.
still be waiting for that hashtag the game changer and whatever you're
Yes,
gonna
my
find out.
beer. Okay. So my beer that has to correlate with like football. I'm gonna dream about it tonight.
Oh my god, I love that. Dreaming about question of mine. That would be really
Yes.
great.
It was such a good question.
Before I conclude, Miranda, could you please let our audience know how they can connect with you and where they can find you on social media?
Yeah, so I'm strictly on Twitter. That's it. I got off all my other socials, so this is it. Murda She Wrote, where it's on my screen. That's my handle, and you can also find my work on Boundary Corner podcast and at Draft Countdown. So yeah.
So Chap is saying
Anyways,
that he's a linguist. I finished my master's in linguistics too, so we relate a lot too.
see, there you go. I love that.
Yes, I do. I love being a linguist as well. I really don't wanna like end this episode. I love
I
you,
know,
Miranda.
this was so fun.
You are. You've been so much fun tonight, and everyone, I do believe they enjoyed everything that you shared. So thank you for tuning in for this episode of the Game Changers. We hope you enjoyed our conversation with Miranda Marie and gained valuable insights into her world and the world of fantasy football. Thank you so much, Miranda, for sharing your expertise, life lessons, and wisdom with us. We appreciate you a lot. Join us next week of the episode of the Game Changers on Wednesday, October 16, when I welcome a special guest. So what happened is next week, my guest couldn't make it. There was so much going on into his life. So he did apologize. Even though we're booked till December, the end of December, but
Ew.
we will let you know who we're gonna bring in next week with us. So keep tuned for that. I also want to express my gratitude for Evan, Iggy, and the TSA team for their continued support, for providing me with this exceptional platform, sharing my guests' authentic stories and experiences. A very special acknowledgement goes to JC for his invaluable contributions behind the scenes. Your efforts are deeply appreciated, JC. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe for the podcast and leave a review. Your feedback helps us improve and reach more viewers like you. Follow us on social media to stay tuned on upcoming episodes and join our community, the Sports Affiliation, where everyone is welcome. Until next time, keep challenging the game and making your mark. This is Carla and Miranda signing off. Have a great evening, everyone. I love you too,
Good
guys.
night.
Thank you.